Shortly, I want to tell you about an essential practice of Padmasana. It is a must for those who tend to explore their subtle world. In ancient times, Hatha Yoga was used to achieve a comfort sitting with a straight spine. Why is a straight spine so important? What do you think? To ensure the energy flow raise? To sublimate the energy? Yeah, that's right. A straight spine allows the energy to go up to the head. Still, there are some practices for warriors to accumulate energy in second chakra. Why do warriors need it? They use the energy to fight, to win, to satisfy their ambitions and so on. In contrary, yogis tend to raise the energy up to the highest chakras. The higher you reach, the calmer your reactions on some situations are. The level of your consciousness depends on the energy level. The higher you go, the more adequate your reality perception is. Imagine a warrior who has accumulated a lot of vital energy in his abdomen center, and he faces a problem. What's his approach of solving it? A coercive one. Oh yeah, indeed. His coercive approach can solve it only. Unfortunately, these approaches hardly lead to positive outcomes. In action, warriors or kshatris have to answer for caused consequences by using these methods. Thus, the higher energy goes, the calmer a man is. Here is a typical example. An argument is visiting a family. A husband doesn't like this and a wife doesn't like that. One word leads to another, and here is a heated debate raised up. Everything can happen during disagreement. Unfortunately, murder statistics in Russia is high. In addition, the widely spread criminal instrument is a kitchen knife. People kill each other with handy instruments due to emotions they are overwhelmed with. It means people lose their temper to the extent they can kill with whatever comes to the hand. Having another quality of energy, most probably one avoids the consequences of what his emotions throws him into. Is logic clear enough? With the help of yoga, you are capable to raise up your energy and deal with conflicts on another level. Imagine an energy of discord visiting a family of yogis trying to separate them. The most severe punishment in the family of Paramhansa Yogananda, if I'm not mistaken, was some sort of a verbal phrase. I got astonished by this fact. The quality of that family life was the highest. All the misunderstanding and arguments used to be solved by diplomatic means. Now, what is Padmasana and how it works on energetic level? Classical Padmasana is a position with ankles beyond thighs that ensures the blockages of Apana flow, which is directed downwards. If Siddhasana is practiced, one leg presses a thigh, another one is placed under the first one, which means that only one Apana flow is blocked. Another one is still circulating. Having massive thighs, as many warriors do, or just having a big body as per karma. Ankle cannot reach thigh, but calf only. But it can be helped. Little by little, it can be worked out. Thus, if you manage to sit in Padmasana, your Apana flow can be controlled. Special pranayamas exist to direct energy to Sushumna Nadi. This practice is not spread, but is used in Himalayas, with the classical Padmasana only. Some techniques are beyond the reach without a lotus position. Energy cannot be directed to Sushumna without a correct Padmasana, as two energetic channels are to be pressed at with your heels to stop energy flows in Ida and Pingala. That causes energy flow in Sushumna. Sushumna Nadi is a central channel, the most positive one. Pingala is responsible for Rajas energy, which means that a person having some energy in Pingala is a subject to Rajas influence. Two people meeting up in a kitchen, arguing and discording, are impacted by the energy of Rajas. They frazzle their nerves, wasting the energy. Living a fast life is tamas, or ignorance, which energy is focused in Ida, another energetic channel. The energy of ignorance pushes a man to do ridiculous things. Having gathered energy in Sushumna leads to an adequate reality perception. Coming back to practice. This kind of Padmasana is a must to sublimate energy in some pranayamas, to push the energy upwards fast. Here is an example. Two practitioners work on pranayama to sublimate energy. One of them with Padmasana, another one hasn't mastered it yet. By the way, how do you understand the phrase energy sublimation? Collection and transformation? Collection of energy in one place and conversion? Yeah, conversion means change and transformation of one state to another one. We have mentioned gray energy that can appear in your aura and exert influence on the process of your consciousness. Imagine a two-man meet-up. One of them is brainwashed by TV set, and he's deeply into chips and other junk food, which consumption is absolutely disgusting and harmful, as it has already been proved. By the one is chips addicted and cannot get rid of bad eating habits due to some reason. So this junk food addict meets up another man who's not familiar with chips at all. They exchange energies, and guess what happens to the second man who's never heard of chips? He conceives a desire to have some chips? Right, next time he comes for shopping in a supermarket, he is pushed to buy some chips. That's how mean the advertising is. While one part of the society is brainwashed by the advertising, the another one, which does not watch TV even, is brainwashed by the first part. Thus, conversion is a process of energy raising up from one level to a higher one, changing its color and vibration with the help of a personal practice. And personal practice only makes it possible. Energy conversion is a fundamental concept of Padmasana necessity. Padmasana practice takes less time to convert introduced in one's life gray energy. If Padmasana is not mastered yet, practice takes way longer if it takes place at all, as Apanavayu efficiency puts obstacles on the way of practice. One hardly can make himself get into practice. Apanavayu is infamous for grading down the consciousness and make it dance to its tune. From a physiological point of view, Padmasana is the fastest means to grasp oneself, which makes it so desirable for practitioners. Special hips opening exercises exist to control Apanavayu.
Какой-нибудь комплекс на раскрытие тазобедренных суставов. То есть, если кто захочет научиться как бы контролировать свою апанаваю, есть комплекс, который позволяет это делать.
Still, as per my experience, any yoga practice with an adequate approach helps open up hips joints. In case you perform a more or less adequate complex, including various asanas, not just a usual set of some poses, then your hips open up sooner or later. We will attach some videos with practice to this lecture. Any questions left? What is Apanavayu? It is some sort of energy. Seeing it with inner vision, it is gray in color. But it's not bad at all, as there is nothing bad in this world. The only question is how this energy can be used by people. Apanavayu is responsible for excretory function in our body. A human goes to the toilet only thanks to this energy. I had a chat with one doctor who deals with problems of aneurysms. According to him, this problem grew up and reached tremendous sizes. I tried to explain that the problem is beyond physiology, as this doctor practices yoga. He explains his physiological stand and tells about functional disorders of muscles, bacteria influence, etc. My stand is following. Strong Apanavayu pulls down everything, causing mentioned problems. So better be in a harmony with Apanavayu, limiting it to some extent, of course. If a lack of Apanavayu is experienced, a man cannot go to the toilet. If excess of Apanavayu is there, then everything falls down. Is this energy in charge of desire? It is a little bit more complicated. Many factors around us affect desires, but Apanavayu is in charge of low-lying desires. For example, a desire to harm or kill someone, or sexually amuse oneself, are Apanavayu concerned. Along with Swadhisthana chakra? Yes, along with Swadhisthana. Though Swadhisthana chakra itself is neutral, and it can be used for the welfare of the world if Apanavayu is not too strong. Energy chakra interaction leads to some circumstances. For the past 100 years, people are habituated to live with 3 lower chakras and focus their vital energy on sleep, eat, defend, and copulate only. Defend is a duty of Muladhara chakra. Sexual desire relates to Swadhisthana. Food intake associates with Manipura. That's it. Full stop. I am astonished at what happens since democracy came to Russia. The majority of incorporated in consciousness movies are nothing else but lost stuff, such as frightening stories of horror movies, meaningless fiction or fantasy, etc. There are no movies about patriotism, which is related to Anahata chakra. Nothing about lofty stuff. I'm not good at movies. I get through brief reviews only to get an idea of what people are installed in their minds. Blockbusters have some underlying reasons of financing. Getting through a movie with a big budget and persuasive advertising gives some understanding what kind of future has been planned. 2 past years were rich in catastrophe movies, releases about a total planet destruction and cleaning up. It all goes deep into our mind. What for? to make it happen. Whatever a man can see makes his future related to reality around him. That's how it works. People have been depraved for the past 100 years. Population of the earth used to be way more modest, purer, chaster, more aware, and more conscientious. When democracy started its march on the earth, such qualities as greediness, consumerism, depravity, enrichment, doing elbow job for the sake of credit, and so on, appeared immediately. That's the stimulation of 3 lowest chakras. So you can imagine how installed programs influence population. Do you agree, or am I mistaken probably? You see my point? Good. The statistics of depravity against children shows that sexual crimes against children increased in 50 times for the past 20 years.
По-моему, около 50 раз. В 50 раз.
120 лет.
А?
120 лет.
Что 120 лет?
Вы сказали за 20 раз.
За 20 лет. Когда демократия пришла вот на эти территории.
And these 20 years were when democracy ruled. Do you think there is no connection? That's the result of depravity, foreign industry activation, and inculcated specific motives. Why am I sharing current social picture, as many may take it as a rubbish and don't like to listen to? There is no way to comprehend the difficulties of yoga practice in society without some notions of social issues. Depraving energies put obstacles in the way of collecting and sublimating the energy upwards. Mass media, TV, and internet deprave people around. But some heroes appear here and there, trying to bring this avalanche back with the efforts of their personal practice. But might is unequal. All sorts of means are used to help people degrade. And comparatively minimal efforts are made to turn back. Efforts are disproportionate. That's the reason why yoga practitioners who lead a common lifestyle encounter obstacles in society. It is interrelated. Have you reincarnated on a more or less perfect planet? Yoga practice would go more smoothly. Such planets and worlds exist, and that they make common sense as standard, and its deviation as oddity. What are the global forces that unfavorably influence on us, and how come they are so strong to harm like that? They do not harm, they just follow the instructions for our time, Kali Yuga, time for dark energies. Different sorts of answers can be given on your question, but I want to share the most odd version. This theoretical version says that it's not our planet inhabitants the government of this planet consists of. Moreover, they treat the planet as a source of raw materials for some galactic corporates. So minerals and some other goods are taken out, and people on the Earth are dormant. The main point of their activity on the planet is minerals mining. That's it, no alternatives. It sounds unbelievably, especially for those who watch TV. Anyway, some indirect factors indicate that it quite possibly happens. We are given a chance to live to some point as far as it benefits someone. You can find more information regarding the topic on our website. Please read the materials about this planet problems. It can help you realize the societal problems.
Разные факты того, что происходит на этой планете. Вернее, там разные материалы есть, которые позволяют осознать проблематику жизни на этой планете. Но мне кажется, там более-менее адекватные материалы собрались. Я ответил на ваш вопрос. Просто поверьте, по-разному можно ответить. И,
Still, the problem is not in finding guilty, but it's in us. If people live the way they do, it's their karma, and they create the problems themselves. Issues creators are secondary, but people are primary. Unless some changes happen inside the population, external changes are in vain. The society brings up consumers instead of creators. And it causes the common level decline. If important information is given and explained and people are trained, then the society level goes up. But a high society would never allow someone to rule over. I entirely agree. Any consumer tending to consume more eventually takes a loan. Majority of so-called civilized Western countries live on loans. Not all, but around 95%. The rest, 3 to 5%, controls the process and are guided by other principles. Russia gets through the same problems. Modern society is brought up on some bases and principles, which are far away from evolution. Decision makers and government you see in TV are two different categories. Governors are deputies only. Other authorities take decisions. Thus, Padmasana is a key to foster self-development. So we have to practice to draw out others to normal, adequate life and help them. Terms draw out and help are not improper. Keeping up your high level, you positively influence the outside world automatically. The mechanism of gray energy exchange between an addict and a normal being works both sides. If you are a sober-minded, you have a positive influence on others. The only issue is how courageous and strong you are to exert efforts to succeed.
Вопрос только в том, будете ли вы, хватит ли у вас мужества и сил прикладывать к себе усилия.
Buddha used to spend 3 months yearly for individual practice. He had to practice to keep up a proper energy level, even in the society of that time. Though he was the one who was capable to influence the world profoundly due to his unbelievable power. There is no another way to do that. As per my experience, sitting on 2 chairs cannot help in development. Imagine an ordinary yogi who practices asanas but continues to keep a lifestyle of a consumer and still takes sweets, satisfies his desires, etc. There are so many these kind of yogis. This yogi, staying at the level of asanas and trying to control his passions and addictions, most probably fails or faces many difficulties.
В их общество, и у них нет другого выхода, кроме как, как-то сублимироваться и возвышаться, у них начинаются такие процессы, там, засыпают очень многие. Я часто это и на лекциях наблюдаю, в том числе и за собой. Вот. Это говорит о том, что как-то личная энергетика организма, она сопротивляется тем высоким вибрациям.
What about those who are still under the influence of gray energy, but happen to find themselves in a company of developing people who sublimate energy? I noticed that these ordinary people, including me, tend to fall asleep during lectures. Does this tendency signify anything? For instance, my personal energy resists high vibrations. Frankly, different reasons lead to falling asleep during lectures. A widespread one is not related to Apanavayu, but the state of lecturer. If he's beyond the consciousness level, in other words, levels of subconsciousness or superconsciousness. Levels of subconsciousness are following: external consciousness, where a human stays. Deeper levels are subconsciousness and superconsciousness. A serious practitioner always stays at levels deeper than consciousness. Concentration on a lecturer leads to tuning up with him. If the lecturer stays at subconsciousness, people fall asleep as they have sleep in their subconsciousness. They are used to take a subtle world as a dream. An ordinary human is not ready for those deep layers and fall asleep, although one is able to stay there absolutely normally. As I know, there are energy level and energy strength. Better say energy level and energy quality. By energy strength, I mean a moment of energy rotation. So the one whose energy is more powerful sets an example for others. Powers can be different. Some people with very strong energy cannot control it. I've seen one guy with my own eyes who altered his subconsciousness state. His strength was enormous, but still, it was animal power directed to destroy without any ability to create. That's why quality matters. The vibration of the energy. The low vibration is rude, the high vibration is delicate. And their influence on the mind differs greatly. Low energy stimulates primitive thinking and longings. High energy makes a human more subtle. Andrey, is there a story of Padmasana? Is it related to any concrete practitioner? I have never heard of it. There are two-legged practitioners and some others. So for two-legged ones, Padmasana practice is in agreement with some regulations. I mean, all planets with two-legged creatures use Padmasana as the most efficient asana for development. Still, I've never come across an explanation in any scriptures. There is another point I want to mention. Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Physiological effects first, then work with mind levels and attempts to control oneself, and then meditation practice. The statement that Padmasana is meant for meditation is a big mistake. Siddhasana is used for meditation, infrequently half Padmasana. You cannot stay in Padmasana for long, as physiologically our legs are to be free in meditation in comparison with Padmasana pose. Padmasana has to be used as energy converter. Thus, it is a practical tool, but not a means for meditation. Most of bodhisattvas and God's images show them sitting in Padmasana, except Buddha Maitreya, whose one leg is on the ground. Others are in a crossed leg position. Crossing legs is a way to control mind. Scriptures use such term of speech as he crosses his legs and starts his practice. Apanavayu is very important and to be dealt with in the initial stages, because it turns to be a burden in the following steps.
Что, друзья, сколько времени у нас?
Без 25:04.
Хорошо. О чем еще поговорим?
Andrey, may I ask a question? My practice efficiency is lower al fresco comparing to studio. Practitioners who have been practicing yoga together for many years determine the common atmosphere in our studio. Any place hosting a gig or gathering is determined. There are amazing studios with great facilities, thanks to sound investment. But it is impossible to practice there. Sure, yoga is practiced there, but without any progress on energy level. Investors determine those who get some results. If money have been received dishonestly, you know what it means, right? I would prefer to skip this topic. The main point is company and studio determine the result. Practice in the nature can also result good changes. Many factors matter.
И на природе можно получать хороший эффект. Там от множества факторов зависит.
Andrey, I have a practical question. How long should I hold in asana? What is the indicator of sufficiency? Any sensations? What should I be guided by? Let's assume you practice Paschimottanasana, a forward bend. For 30 minutes, you experience discomfort. For next 30 minutes, you feel vibration and sensation of moving. For another 30 minutes, those sensations must be over. Being trained, you start experiencing another sort of sensations. Paschimottanasana shows the state of Apanavayu. Someone shared a story of one yoga exam. One had to stay in Paschimottanasana for 2 hours or around that. There was some astronomical figure, which was an examination task to pass. If you want to change the energy flow in some asana, you can use this approach.
Поэтому здесь главное понять, для чего вы. Если вы в какой-то конкретной асане хотите изменить ток энергии определенный, занимаетесь. А ведь
yoga practice in our studio is integrated, including every joint's workout. At least we try to use asanas to embrace the whole body. If you are a fan of Ashtanga Vinyasa flow, for example, you practice the same asanas day by day so that only certain joints work out. Indeed, there are no asanas to develop arms, for instance. I believe that's not the best way, but that's my opinion only.
не до конца. Ну, на мой взгляд, сугубо личный взгляд. То есть руки там менее будут развиваться.
I cannot answer the question how long you should stay in one asana. Yoga postures were used to open up hip joints and master Padmasana for a long stay in it.
Чтобы раскрепостить суставы, сесть в падмасану и аккуратно в ней сидеть. Все хорошо.
Not at all to receive a good mark on the teacher training examination and to be able to teach yoga. Motivations have been changed. Okay, it's time to sign up. My blessings for you. I hope you keep on practicing yoga and treat Padmasana more seriously. Hopefully it turns handy in supervision of visiting and insistent energy.
Сможете разобраться с теми энергиями, которые к вам приходят периодически в гости и пытаются вас контролировать. Будут вопросы, еще встретимся, пообщаемся. Всем благодарю тогда, соответственно.